On average, Americans spend 25% of their grocery budget on food that doesn't get eaten. Here to help us stop throwing money down the drain, we welcome the author of No Scrap Left Behind, My Life Without Food Waste, Tara Pilgrim. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
You have some great ideas that we can all accomplish in our busy schedules and everyday lives to get rid of some food waste. We're all guilty of it.
Yeah, and it ends up saving time because this is food that you already have on hand, that you've already paid money for, and that you're just reusing again. So yeah, it's great for everybody.
What inspired you to start reducing your own food waste in your own home?
So I think we all feel a little bit guilty every time we throw away food, and I just got to the point where I'm I'm tired of feeling guilty. This is not a happy feeling that I have. And so it was kind of an experiment to see if I could get down to zero, and it ended up being this lifestyle that I could totally maintain.
That's so great, because it doesn't have to be super difficult and require a ton of effort. Once you get into the habit of doing things, it's really easy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, getting down all the way to zero was a challenge. But I'd say 75% of my waste wasn't that hard to prevent once I got used to this.
Perfect. Yeah. Where do we want to start? You have lots of ideas to share with us today.
Sure do. So let's start with apple scrap syrup.
Okay.
So quite often we make dishes pies and cobbler and stuff where we don't need the peel or we don't need the core.
Sure.
And all you have to do is boil it until the water tastes like apple and add sugar, and then it's really good on pancakes, waffles.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I never would have thought of that. So you literally just take the stuff, the parts you're not eating.
Right.
And that's it.
Yeah, and then, if you're making your own syrup, then you have to buy less syrup.
Now you're talking.
Right,
Now
exactly.
you're talking. Okay, that's so cool. Okay, what about these veggies over here?
I've experimented with all different ways of keeping celery and carrots fresh as long as possible, and the best way I've found is to submerge them in water in a mason jar.
And that's it?
That's it, yeah.
Now how long will these keep once they're in here?
Oh gosh, I've never kept it long enough to
That's a good endorsement though. That's good. Because these have a pretty decent shelf life to begin with, and if you can maximize it even further, you're going to end up actually eating everything that you buy.
Yeah, and celery, I mean, that does get limp right away.
Okay.
And if your carrots or celery get limp, do this and it will get crisp again.
Oh, that's so cool. Chemistry. All right, what about this rice dish here?
So rice gets hard and stale pretty much the second you put it in the fridge, right? And most people don't know how to make it fresh again. This will make it taste like you just barely cooked it.
Ooh.
All you have to do is add a little bit of water, maybe a tablespoon or two, seal it with a lid or a plate or plastic wrap.
Okay.
Microwave it for 2 minutes, let it sit a little bit longer, and that's it.
And that's it.
That's it.
Just a little dash of water. Oh my gosh, I think about all the takeout glorious rice that you get that's so good.
Yeah.
And then the next day you think it's just completely destroyed.
Right, yeah, and then you just cook rice over and over again, whereas this only takes 2 minutes.
This is like ka-ching, ka-ching. We're saving so much money along the way. Okay, what about these guys here?
So quite often when we buy food, we're I am buying broccoli to buy broccoli, I'm going to eat broccoli. But we don't think about there's more that we're buying. For example, we buy the stalk, we buy the cauliflower leaves, and they're all edible.
Okay.
So you can cook, this is all just stalk that that I peeled the exterior off of.
Okay.
So if you want to give it a try, it's pretty good.
Oh, all right. Just literally use every bit of it.
Yeah, and you can cook it right alongside the florets, if you're making a soup or a stir fry or whatever. And then these are cauliflower leaves, which they taste like cauliflower, but they're in the shape of leaves.
Yeah, wait a minute. This is a new concept to me. But I would imagine it's just a green, crunchy veggie.
Yeah, and you can cook those too, but no, you don't have to.
Yum.
Right?
Okay, okay.
All right, let's switch places.
Okay, what do we got over here?
So every time a recipe calls for tomato paste, it only calls for 1 tablespoon.
That's so true, and you buy the little can, and then what are you gonna do?
Right, so all I do is I get a 1 tablespoon dollop, because that's what recipes usually call for. Put it on here, and then I freeze it. And then I just pull it out of the freezer whenever.
Simple as that. Just put it on a sheet pan and freeze it, and there you go.
Yeah. Now, whenever you freeze things, it's good to put it on a cookie sheet like berries and mushrooms and stuff, so
Okay.
it doesn't like freeze in one big clump.
Sure.
And then you don't have to defrost the whole thing.
Oh, that's true. Because even with our best intentions, sometimes we freeze things and they don't quite come out the way that you envisioned.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You just got like this, big cube of ice. So you freeze it first and then you put it in a bag.
That's such a great idea. Okay, what do we have on the end over here?
So milkshakes, once they melt, you think that that's all you can do with it, right? Because once again, you put it in the freezer, it turns into a big lump.
Yeah.
All you got to do is instead of freezing it in one big lump, you freeze it in ice cube trays.
Oh my gosh.
And then when you want a milkshake again, you just blend it up and it tastes just
No
like
way.
it did. Yeah.
That's such a good idea.
And that's it.
And you could even make like little mini pops with it if you wanted to with those little toothpicks. Like we
Ooh,
make
that
our
would be
kids
good.
popsicles sometimes. Okay, I'm inspired.
Oh, good.
This is great stuff. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
You just showed us so many things in such a short amount of time. Okay, we'll have more information on our website at katu.com. We'll be right back with more Afternoon Live right after this.